Keir Starmer's political future is in jeopardy, and for good reason. His leadership of the Labour Party has been exposed as a calculated charade, marked by contradictions, betrayals, and hypocrisy that can no longer be ignored. Starmer has spent the better part of his political career positioning himself as a champion of Labour's working-class base, but recent leaks reveal a darker truth. His attempts to maintain control over the party have led to a quiet collapse in trust, particularly within the heart of the electorate he claims to represent. What was once seen as a promising political career is now unraveling before our eyes, and Labour must ask itself whether it is willing to continue backing a leader who has shown little regard for the values that the party once stood for. The latest revelations expose Starmer's deep-seated hypocrisy on immigration, a subject that remains one of the most contentious and sensitive issues in British politics today. Behind closed doors, Starmer has admitted that Labour made a catastrophic mistake in treating all immigration as an unequivocal good. This is not just a minor embarrassment, it is a stark contradiction of the very values Starmer has been promoting publicly. For years, he has insisted that Labour would crack down on illegal immigration and control the nation's borders. But this latest leak of a private letter exposes the truth. Starmer has been pandering to the political elite while dismissing the concerns of working-class voters, the very people who are the backbone of the Labour Party. This isn't just political miscalculation, it is an outright betrayal. For Starmer to claim that the working-class concerns about immigration were ignored by the political establishment is a shocking admission of negligence. This is a leader who has failed to listen to the very electorate that Labour needs to secure victory in the next general election. Instead of addressing their legitimate concerns, Starmer chose to ignore them, opting for the safer route of political expediency. The result is that Labour now finds itself in disarray, with working-class voters abandoning the party in droves. These voters no longer trust Starmer, and for good reason. He has shown himself to be a leader who is more concerned with political survival than with addressing the real issues that are affecting people's lives. His public commitments on immigration have been revealed as little more than electioneering, devoid of any real conviction. If the immigration scandal weren't enough, Starmer's secret dealings with the European Union are an even greater cause for alarm. Leaked documents have shown that Starmer has been preparing to surrender Britain's sovereignty to Brussels in ways that could undermine the entire premise of Brexit. While Starmer has publicly assured the British public that he respects the result of the Brexit referendum, the reality is far more insidious. Behind closed doors, he has been negotiating with the EU in a way that risks undoing much of the progress made since 2016. The leaked EU documents reveal an alarming willingness on Starmer's part to offer concessions that would undermine the British public's vote to leave the European Union. The 19-page document, leaked from high-level EU discussions, paints a damning picture of a leader who is far more interested in appeasing Brussels than in representing the will of the British people. The suggestion that Starmer would consider reintroducing free movement under the guise of a youth mobility scheme is nothing short of a betrayal. This is a proposal that would further erode Britain's control over its borders, a central tenet of the Brexit campaign. The British people voted to take back control, to end the free movement of people from the European Union. Yet here is Starmer, behind the scenes, making plans to hand that control back to Brussels. This is not only a breach of trust, it is a slap in the face to every voter who believed in the promise of Brexit. Starmer's actions are an affront to the very principles that Labour once stood for and a stark reminder of how far the party has drifted from its roots. At this point, the question is not whether Starmer will survive politically, but how much damage he will do to Labour before the next election. His credibility is in tatters, and the internal turmoil within the party is only growing. Senior figures within Labour are already questioning whether Starmer is the right person to lead them into the next election. As more of his secrets come to light, the party is increasingly divided, with many wondering if it is time for a change. The working-class voters who once made Labour the party of choice are now looking elsewhere, disillusioned by Starmer's actions and rhetoric. His failure to address their concerns, combined with his willingness to compromise on key issues like immigration and Brexit, has created a political crisis that Labour may not be able to recover from. Starmer's political career is careening toward an inevitable collapse, but the real question is whether Labour will be able to salvage itself before it's too late. If the party continues to stand by a leader whose actions have been exposed as deceptive and self-serving, then it risks alienating the very electorate it needs to win back. The fallout from these scandals will only intensify, And if Starmer remains at the helm, Labour may very well face electoral annihilation in the next general election. The Labour Party must ask itself, can it continue to back a leader who has shown such flagrant disregard for its values and the trust of the British people? If not, it's time for Labour to face the harsh reality: Starmer's time is up.